Right. Let me say a bit about the value chain as you are studying this next section. All right. So the value chain is all about creating value for a customer. So we see value chain and supply chain, which we'll talk about just a sec here. But creating value is an important part of planning and implementing strategy. So value is the usefulness that your customer gains from a product or service. So let's look at the graphic that is also posted on Blackboard. And we see this value chain here, right? And so we have to question whether or not, right, the activities, the behaviors that we're engaged in all these areas in the value chain are actually creating value for our customer. So let me give you a couple of examples. When we look at design of products and production, for instance, and let's kind of phrase it this way. When we say creating value, let's look at this on the other side of it. If a product creates value for a customer, it's something that they're willing to pay for. So let's use that as our metric. What are customers willing to pay for, right? And they're paying for value. A customer will be willing to pay for better products, better design products, new technology. So think about a company like Apple producing and selling iPhones. Customers are willing to pay for better designed iPhones with new technology, new designs. This adds value, right? If we are designing better in production, we have less defects, better quality. Customers are willing to pay for that. Customers are willing to pay for great customer service. I think about Chick-fil-A. People rave about their customer service. They're willing to wait in longer lines. They're willing to sit in crowded restaurants because the customer service is so good. It adds value. So Chick-fil-A has made a decision that spending money on training employees, spending money on enhancing the customer experience is worth it because customers are willing to pay for that. They receive value. On the other hand, look at the top here, administration. No customer in the world is willing to pay for increased administrative cost, right? We as customers would not accept prices going up because you had to hire extra accountants. We would not accept prices going up because you doubled the salary of the CEO. We would, on the other hand, accept higher prices because of better products. Okay, so we spend time trying to determine where we can add value for a customer, which will keep a customer, which may allow us to raise prices, right? So these sorts of things are areas which we're continually trying to improve. Let me go back down. If I take production and I take distribution together, we're going to get something, and I'm sure you've heard this term before, called the supply chain. Supply chain, okay, production and distribution, okay, is all about the flow of goods and services. This flow of goods starts with the initial sources of your raw materials, all the way up to delivery, regardless of whether the activities occur in one company or multiple companies. It's all part of what we call the supply chain. So here's an example using a cola bottling company. Let's just call them Coca-Cola. All right. The beginning of the supply chain starts with the suppliers of the ingredients, meaning the supply chain for this cola bottling company includes all of their raw material suppliers. It includes manufacturers of concentrate, the bottling companies, distribution, retail companies. So if you sell your product inside of Stater Brothers, inside of a Ralph's supermarket, they're part of your supply chain all the way up until you get to your final consumer. Okay, so value chain and supply chain are related. Supply chain being part of your value chain. Supply chain, we will spend a lot of, in terms of where we're going to spend our physical presence, as you would have it, in dealing with the supply chain, and in a broader aspect, the value chain. Okay, so that's your value chain and supply chain. I hope that's helpful to you.